Hello, and welcome to another episode of Not a Life Sentence. My guest today comes from years of working in the music field. He has tried so many businesses. Some did well, and others didn't, until COVID hit and he needed some light in his life. He reached out for people to give their golden nugget. I am so happy today to welcome the founder and CEO of One Golden Nugget, Stephen Foster. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Yeah, thank you. I'm good, very good. It's wonderful to see you, Carla. Thank you for inviting me. I feel very honored. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Have you done your yoga session today or not yet?
No, I'm going to do it later, actually. I
Later.
mean, talking about yoga, that came into my life about 8 or 9 years ago, and I do hot yoga, and it's just the most incredible thing for the body and the mind. It kind of washes out the brain. You get that brain fog and tiredness. Do yoga, do hot yoga, it just disappears, and you really don't care about anything. You talk about it's not
Mm.
a life sentence. If you've done yoga, you could be anywhere. It doesn't matter. You're free. It's just so go and do yoga, everybody, every day.
Oh, well, look, yoga has been around for so many years, definitely, and but it is awesome to see that you feel the difference and you feel that it does really help you. Stephen, we are going definitely to talk about One Golden Nugget, but can we maybe start by telling the audience about your music days? What did you do?
What did I do? I always played piano and guitar and whatever since I started at about 10, and I was always playing in bands and loved that keyboards. And then I got to 19, and I was in a job working for a bank, and I absolutely hated it. I could see at that age it was dead man's shoes. It was just like this is just not me. So I wanted to spend my time doing what I loved, and that was music. So my mum and dad lent me £1,000 back in 1989, and I bought three cassette decks, the old cassette tapes, and I
Mm.
started replicating tapes for local bands. So if you was in a band, I went into studio, you wanted 50 cassettes and you wanted to be able to sell them at your gigs, you'd come to me and I'd replicate and make a nice little cover. So I started doing that. And then I was gigging in pubs 6 nights a week as well, as a solo act, singing and playing and entertaining a pub of people for about 3 hours every night. So I did that in the evening. So that kind of supplemented my income while I was trying to
Mm.
make the cassette thing work. And then the cassette thing, I got into the dance music industry and the mixtapes. And all of a sudden, I went from doing, a few hundred a month to doing hundreds of thousands a month. And the thing took off. And that was cool. And then from that, I then got into dance music and I became a dance music promoter. So in 1996, this is now, so I'm 25. At that point, I've been building my business for 6 years. I owned one of the world's biggest dance music brands of its time called Dreamscape. So I'd put on dance music events for 15, 20,000 people that would come to an event and dance all night, rave. And then I had a record label that was selling millions of albums and number one records and albums and three recording studios and making all the songs and whatever. So that was where my music career really took off. And then I became a songwriter at 31, signed to Universal Music, and then was writing for Pop Idol and X Factor and these music artists and managing them. And so that, and I've been a failed pop star. I was in a boy band in my early 20s and wanted to be a pop star, but it didn't happen, unfortunately, which still annoys me to the day.
Mhm. So, for so many years, you were doing what you really enjoyed doing.
Yeah,
So, it was
absolutely.
fun and at the same time making money. And as I mentioned in my intro, COVID hit and you lost your business.
Yeah, well, but prior to that, I'd lost three or four businesses. I looked at 30, so I built the rave company up. I had loads of money, and at 31, I lost the whole lot. So I was terrible. I lost my entire identity. And that's when I then became a songwriter and reinvented myself. And then I created two other businesses after that, which also went bust. So it's because I didn't have the skills. And my ego told me that actually I should be doing everything and I'm really good at everything because I'm very, very special. But in fact, of course you're not. You're good at what you do and you just stick to that and stay in your lane and then find other people that complement that. But my ego was too big. It
Mm.
told me I could do everything all the time. So I just kept going bust. And yes, then COVID hit and I was again at that point now 48 and living in my office and I've run out of money and the business I had went out of business and I'd spent at that point, from 19 to 48 working constantly and building my dream to lose it to be then at the start of COVID living in my office and I've got nothing, rock bottom.
At that stage, how gloomy, I guess, was the future looking for you?
Oh, I loved it. Absolutely loved it because at rock
Yeah.
bottom, you got nothing. There's nothing to worry about. There's a guy called Simon Squibb who's a friend of mine, and he said, if you've got nothing, you have an unfair advantage. And I knew
Makes
that.
sense.
Yeah, I knew that. So you can either go two ways. You can go, oh, poor me, I've got nothing, or go, oh, this is great. I've got absolutely nothing. There's nothing to lose. How freeing is that? No possessions, no money, no house, no car, nothing, just nothing. So therefore, that gives you the opportunity then to go, okay, well, what do I want to create next? Let's go again. Or you can stop and
Mm.
feel sorry for yourself. But you've got to pick yourself up. That's the key. And in all credit to me, that one of the greatest skills I have is after I've crashed and burned to be able to pick myself straight up again and go, right, let's have it.
Mm.
I'm very proud of that. That
So
bounce back.
really, so really, it's like boredom for kids. We say now kids are not getting bored, and therefore they are not getting creative. For you, you've lost everything, but it was liberating for you.
Yeah, but there's really nothing to lose anyway. There isn't. It's an illusion that you think you've got to have all these things, and it's the ego talk. It's nothing to lose. Who cares? As long as
Mm.
you're healthy. And I was very healthy then, and I'm healthy now. Who cares? So, and I really took that attitude. I was like, well, I've got, okay, so what do I want to do next? So I had this idea called One Golden Nugget of asking people for a nugget of wisdom, particularly in a time that they'd been through that was really tough. So I start of lockdown, there's nothing going on. Luckily, a friend of mine said, see, this is how my life always works. Luckily, a friend of mine said, oh, I've got a house you can have. It's a lovely 3-bedroom townhouse, beautiful. You can stay there for nothing. Go and get. So I moved in and I'm still here now.
Yeah.
I rented it out. But that's always been my case, that somebody would appear with some gift, something would happen, something would shift, because I was in that state of being able to receive. So then I had somewhere to live, and not only was that somewhere to live, it was beautiful. So then
Yeah.
I felt successful again. Okay, well, crash bang, now all of a sudden I've got this beautiful house. So then I spent lockdown for the first kind of 6 months just on Zoom, reaching out to people on LinkedIn saying, "Would you fancy giving me a nugget?" And the idea was that actually I just wanted to improve myself because life is just a reflection of the inner self. There's no doubt about that. Everything you see out there is just an illusion. So it's a reflection of the inner self. So if you want to change anything, change yourself. So I just set about asking people for a nugget of wisdom to improve myself. And people loved it. They came in their tens of thousands going, well, here's my nugget, can I talk to you? Because everybody had time, everybody felt vulnerable and everybody wanted to reflect. And I offered them that opportunity. It was like a mini therapy session almost. So
Mm.
Nugget just took off. It was amazing.
You are awesome. The first nugget that you collected was from Warwick Davis. What was his one golden nugget?
Yes, Warwick. Obviously the film star from Harry Potter and Star
Yeah,
Wars, and yeah, I mean, what a way to kick off a new idea with the guy
I
that had
know.
the guy that had been in Harry Potter and played Yoda. So his nugget was expect nothing, love what you do, and live in the moment. And so he gave me that nugget, and I really, rather than it just being that's a nugget, I really thought about it. So expect nothing. So we spend our entire lives expecting some sort of outcome. And when the outcome doesn't come, it's very painful because you feel like you've been somehow wronged. But that's only your expectation. So let's first of all, when I'm doing nugget, let's remove expectation. I'm just going to do it and have fun collecting nuggets. And I'm not interested in, there was no business model to make money. Nothing. I'm
Yeah.
just going to collect nuggets. Expect nothing. I've forgotten it now. Expect nothing. Live in the moment. So that comes back to present moment, right? There's only ever the present moment, and that's where your power is. And love what you do. I loved talking to people and asking them about their failure because it made me feel better.
Mm,
Because prior to that, I'd always created this veneer of, oh yeah, I'm so successful. I'm so successful. Oh my goodness. When actually everybody's been through the same stuff, and they've had so many tough moments because that's what life is. And it's not to be hide from it. So yeah, he was my first nugget. And I'd had a business with Warwick Davis previously, a few years ago, making video production, whatever, and a nice guy. And then he just really popped up,
mm.
gave me a nugget, and that kicked it off.
And I'm very happy that you did mention failure. Whenever I do feel down or I question my abilities or question my decisions, at times I look at J.K. Rowling. She's heard 12 rejections, but she kept on going. And the 13th door that opened for her was the one that has changed her life. For you, in terms of mindset, what gave you that this next business is going to be the one? How come you never stopped from going from one business to another?
Well, I did for a time. After the rave thing ended, I spent a year feeling sorry for myself. Really, I felt really, really sorry for myself. Didn't come out my bedroom, got depressed. It's just went on for a year. And I have to tell you, Carla, it was the most painful experience of my life. So actually, the stopping is more painful than the getting up and going again. And it's the same. I've run marathons, I've run 12 marathons. And when you get to mile 17, 18, and the lactic acid is kicking in, it's actually
Mm,
more painful to stop and walk than it is to keep running for some reason. So you keep going. So therefore, if it's more painful to stop, what's the point? You may as well. And what are you going to do with your life? You get up in the morning and you've given up. What are you going to do? Oh,
mm,
terrible. The dream's over. And really, the definition that I take success is that if you're constantly moving towards your intention and what you want to create and you don't give up, you're successful. Forget money,
yeah,
that just comes and goes. It's that keeping the intention in mind and keep moving forward and keep going that makes you successful. So anybody
sure.
that's keeping going, you're a success. Feel it.
Mm. For you, you were victimizing yourself. You were feeling sorry for yourself for a year. What was the difference between the 12th month and the first month? How come after a year you said, that's it, I need to do something about it?
I guess it just got so depressing that actually I thought I need to go and do something. So I went and got a job as a cleaner in a factory. And they paid £5 an hour. So this is back early 2000s. I'm getting paid £5 an hour. Bearing in mind, I'd had lots of money before that, £5 an
Mm,
hour. And the reason I did it was I thought, well, if I go and get a job, I may well be stuck in that job because then I need the money and I've got to then. At this point, I had wife and two kids and a house. It wasn't like I was on my own. I had a family to support. So I'd remortgage, take some money out to survive for that year. And then I'd run out of that money. So I thought, well, I've got to do something. So I'll go and get a job as a cleaner, cleaning toilets in a factory because it was the worst possible thing I could think of to teach me whatever lesson I needed. What it did was it taught me humility, first of all, because I have to tell you, the people that do those jobs are wonderful people, they're doing their best in life. And that's where they are. That's what they're doing. The people that do those jobs long
mm,
term, nothing wrong with it. They're trying to feed their family and doing the best for them. And I hold those people in greater esteem than a CEO of a global business that gets in his limousine and forget all that jazz. These people are there grafting to provide for their families. And I got bullied in that factory by the machinists. And, you're the scum of the earth as far as a machinist goes. So you have this
mm,
hierarchy where the machinists are there, they're getting paid 15, £20 an hour at that point, and you're a cleaner. but I actually enjoyed it because what it did is it gave me free mental space. So I could sweep around all day and do my thing. And then it gave me freedom to think.
Mm.
Whereas if I'd gone and done a job in a call center, my brain would be busy all day. But that manual thing allowed me the freedom to think. And so
And
therefore I could create a new vision for what I wanted to create. It was the best thing I've ever done. And I loved it. I loved it.
it
I
proves it.
enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah.
And how long were you at the factory for?
6 weeks.
Six
And after
weeks.
6 weeks, not very long. It was long enough because after 6 weeks, I then signed a deal with Universal Music to become a songwriter. Found myself a multi-million mentor that was going to help me to develop my mindset. He just appeared, and off I went. And then I started earning money again. It was great. I didn't stay down very long.
Do you believe in manifestation?
Well, you're manifesting all the time through your thoughts and your energy. That's what creates reality. So 100%, that's how life works. Life is just a reflection of you. Yeah, so you're constantly creating your life.
I believe we need to do the groundwork, but manifestation exists. We need to really believe in it, and it will definitely happen.
Well, just open your
Um,
eyes and see what's that. Everything you're manifesting, you're drawing towards you based on your vibrational frequency because you're
yeah,
just energy. So the dimension that you live in life is just a frequency. So you attract those people and circumstances based on who you are. That's how it works. And
yeah,
all
but
the top
like some
told me that.
people apply for a job or apply for a university, and they say, I don't think I am going to get offered a place there.
Yeah,
And guess what? They
yeah, they
won't.
don't get. Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. That's how it works. So they're manifesting in their way. They're creating that reality. It's not going to happen. Well, there you go, bang. Words have power. Abracadabra actually, is a spell. Words have power. You can create through your words.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way it
Let's go
works.
back down memory lane for when you were a child. How were you as a child?
Um, I had a wonderful childhood, two loving parents and my brother, and um, a very safe, loving home. I was very blessed, to be honest. Some people don't
Were
get
you
that.
naughty? Were you a shy person? Were you an outgoing one?
No, I was creative. I was playing piano and
Mm.
trying to learn. And at 14, building ideas to make businesses. And I just loved life as a kid, looking back.
Mm.
It was a wonderful, freeing time, I mean, I don't really remember much before 10. So that would be 1981. But it was a time of, there was no big brother. You go out all day long on your bike. You had no phone, spy cameras as we have now, watching everybody. You know,
Mhm.
it was a much simpler time and I miss it. It was, we just had a great time.
And people had the chance to be creative.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for all our technology and whatever, there's some great things, but you've only got to drive past the school these days and see the gates. It's like a prison. Every school's the same. We didn't have that at school. We was just run around. It was the establishment creates this fear narrative around life now, that fear this, fear
Mm.
that, because that's what they want. But I just don't remember that from being a kid. So we traveled around a lot. My dad was in the oil industry, so I lived abroad when I was a kid. So I experienced different cultures, and yeah, I had a good childhood. I didn't like school. School got in the way. Just didn't see the point of it. I'm not clever in that way. It got in the way of my creativity.
Yeah.
Mm.
Who was your role model, or who was the person that shaped your personality, you think?
Well, definitely your parents. I mean, both my mum and my dad. I admired his kind of get up and go and that he had, and my mum, extreme love and kindness and always there for you. So they were my role models, really. And the Beatles, I just love the Beatles, play Beatles records all day long. And you've only got to listen to those records to hear the esoterical nature of them. All You Need Is Love, Let It Be. All those messages are there within the Beatles records. And even at a very young age, I resonated with that. Same with Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I was Luke Skywalker. And so you talk about everything being energy. That's what the Force is.
Mm.
So that those two things had a massive impact on me, Star Wars and the Beatles, when I was a kid. Not they were mentors, but I saw what they were beyond what they were.
It looks like your mom and dad supported you with your music because they put you into piano lessons. But at the age of 19, were they supportive of what you were doing in your life?
Yeah. Yeah. They didn't give me piano lessons. I just learned piano on my own. But yes, they did. They gave me £1,000 to start my first business. I was living at home at the time, so that they supported me and they were like, yeah, go after your dreams. Totally. It's just total support. And so you should do with your kids. It's like, go and be who you want to be. I think the biggest crime is when a parent says to a kid, this is the job you're going to have and this is who you're going to
Your
be. No,
pathway.
yeah, no. Yeah, don't do that. If yeah, they're a lawyer, then the kids become a lawyer or whatever it is. It's how you allow your kids to go out into the world and be who they want to be. So my mum and dad supported me, yeah, encouraged me. It was great.
Mm,
Very blessed.
it is definitely. Let's go back to One Golden Nugget and the founder of Reebok. You have a collaboration and you do charity work. You have so far published 2 volumes of How to Survive and Thrive. And where do the proceeds of the book sales go?
So I met a guy called Steve Hill that runs his own charity. He's one of the first nuggets that he ever gave us. So he has some schools in Uganda that he supports. So the sales of our How to Survive and Thrive books go to the school in Uganda. And going back to the founder of Reebok, he's somebody that turned up into my life 6 months into doing One Golden Nugget during as we sort of started to come out of lockdown a bit and things opened up. He appeared and I asked him for his nugget, and then we got on, and he saw something in me. And 5 years later, we're just finishing volume 3 of How to Survive and Thrive, and we're nearly on volume 4. But what Joe allowed me to do was stand on his shoulders. So it's not who you know, it's who knows you. So all of a sudden, the founder of Reebok knew me, said I was really good, and then people gravitated towards me because of that. And that's what those great people do. They elevate people. And I
Yeah.
was still earning no money at that point and in a position of trying to get this thing going. And he was like, yeah, I'll help. And they're absolute blessings. But they only appear when you're ready for them to appear. And those great people, they sniff out the bullshit in life. So you can't, if you're fake, it repels them because they've been through everything, they've seen everything. You can feel it when someone's lying, you can feel when somebody's not trustworthy, the thing. So that you repel those great people if they do appear. And I didn't, I just collected them one after the other doing Nugget and I built up, this black book of the most incredible people all over the world because it was something based on truth. I tell them my story and what I was doing and what I was trying to achieve, and they went, "Oh, I like this. Yeah, cool. I'd like
Mm.
to make it."
Are you able here to explain maybe to us? I am finding more and more when someone has money in mind, they won't succeed and they won't go ahead as much as if they were doing things not lightly, but something that they enjoy, something that they are doing it for or with a purpose. Like for
Yeah,
you, you started collecting nuggets, you didn't think about the money side of it.
I didn't know. I had no idea how to make any money of it. I remember a wealthy entrepreneur saying to me, "What's the business model?" I was like, "I've got no idea. Absolutely no
Mm.
idea, but it feels right." So the thing about money is, and this is the reason for before I did Nugget for 28 years, I just kept failing. And that was my purpose was to make money. That was the
Mm.
only reason I did anything. Yeah, yeah, the music was, I love writing songs, but it was still about making money. So what happens is it doesn't work because money is just the byproduct. So you need to create something amazing and then the money just turns up as a result of it. So when I did Nugget, I knew that. So it was just like, oh, forget it. Just forget about the money. Forget about having a car or anything or the fruit. Just focus on doing it. And there's a great thing with a tree grows obviously, but it doesn't just grow up, it grows down. So if you can imagine a tree, it's kind of going both ways. And the last thing to arrive on a tree is the fruit. Ding, 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 ding.
Right.
That's the money. So therefore, and we all want the fruit, right? Because we like what the fruit gives us. It's just tasty. You want to eat it. But first of all, you've got to allow the tree to grow, and not just up, down. And all my previous businesses, there was no roots. It was like a tree that was like this because I didn't bother with the roots of the business. And then as soon as fruit came, I just pick it.
Mm.
Then the tree falls over. That's how it works. So when you're doing anything, you've got to somehow find a way of doing it, loving it, and not worrying about the end result, letting that go. And it comes very naturally, by the way. You
Because
know,
it will happen.
yeah, life will
Comes
support you on that journey. People, circumstances, whatever will just turn up. And with Nugget, we ran out of money, I think, on 4 or 5 occasions. I mean, I'm talking like at this point, I had a couple of staff and we've got no money. We're trying to, but something would always happen. Just at the last minute, something would occur, some shift would happen because, the universe, life was supporting us on that journey.
yeah.
I never worried about it. I did worry about it sometimes, but I've got beyond that now. I just don't care. So,
So
don't focus on the money because money is energy.
that's
So
right.
if you focus on not having any money, you get the experience
Mm.
of not having any money.
And it all started with the One Golden Nugget. Where is it now, and what is the business doing?
So now our business model is that we write books. I mean, you're in the second book, How to Survive and Thrive. You're a co-author in that. So people come into our books, they pay to do that, and we make them published authors and we elevate them and they see all the beautiful benefits of doing that. So we have still the book series with Joe, which is coming on to book 4. We've now got a book series with Rick Macy, who's the tennis coach for Serena and Venus Williams. So we're doing a book series with him, and that's about mindset, another book on purpose. So we're just rolling. We built a process and a product now that people love. So we're just scaling up. We've now brought in an MD, Trevor, who's now taking care of the process and the business, which I'm awful at. And I'm focusing on what I do well, which is just moving and shaking and collecting nuggets and talking to people about maybe becoming a co-author and doing that. So we have a team of people now. I think there's 8 of us. So we're moving onwards and upwards, and it's going to be a huge business because it's based on certain principles of kindness, love, giving, good energy, helping people, elevating people, taking care of people. When people get involved with us, they, for the most part, they love it because it's not about the money. It's like, well, how can we help each other? And I'm very proud of that. So yeah, the thing is building rapidly. So onwards and
And
upwards. Let's see.
building
Hmm?
and building a community.
Yeah, exactly. And you're part of that. We have an amazing community of people, and then they support each other, and they're all friends, and they're networking, and magic's happened. I mean, I don't know how many conversations you've had with other co-authors, but you get to meet these people, and then other opportunities arise from that. So the thing is like this, it's a universe in itself. The Big Bang happened with Warwick Davis giving me his nugget, and then it says, it just expands and grows and accelerates. And the thing is, it is accelerating every day. It's getting bigger and faster. So just hold on and keep doing it. And I've got huge vision and intention in my mind as to where we're going to go. And that's what will happen.
Do you at times say where we are today is just a dream? Like you are enjoying it, you have built a community around you. It is going from strength to strength.
Yeah. No, I don't. So because some days it's incredibly boring. Yesterday I spent 10 hours just following up, working, doing admin, the thing. Someday, and that's the skill, is to master the boring. It takes hours and hours of dedicated hard work, and sometimes, and there's been times mentally where I go, I just can't. This is not. Why am I doing? This. Why am I doing this? So then for about 5 minutes, I go, right, okay, I'm done. I've given up, and I give up. And then 5 minutes later, I'm like, okay, I'll forget that. I'll just crack on again, and on you go. So you get. what I'm trying to achieve from life, Carla, is not having the highs and the lows so much. It's just that kind of. So when great things happen, I tend not to get so excited anymore. It's just,
No?
oh, interesting. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just be on that level all the time. And then something that doesn't work out, you go, oh, that's interesting.
So you just like to remain grounded, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, go to yoga and see what happens. Who knows? You can't predict the future, but you can create an intention and you can keep working towards it and see what happens, see what direction it takes you in. Yeah, but yeah, I'm very blessed that I think the biggest benefit has been the people that you meet, just the most incredible human beings. And when I was a rave promoter, I used to attract those sort of people that were in that industry, and that wasn't very nice, gangsters and not nice people. And actually, if I reflect back, I probably wasn't very nice myself. It was just 25-year-old, 26. Yeah, yeah, let's go. Life owes me. I want loads of money. Give me a cut. Let me show the world how good I am. Whereas I'm not like that now. And that's fine. We all morph
Yeah.
as we grow, right? We shed a skin and we become somebody else. And I've become many versions of myself. And so I'm looking forward at now 53 as I go into my 50s and 60s. So, who I'll become, who knows? Just ride it and see where it goes.
I was going to say I'd be a bit worried if you were still the same as when you were in your mid 20s.
Yeah. I'm aware of who I was
Yeah,
then and what I attracted.
yeah,
I'm aware of who I am now and what I attract. And I attract the world's best. And that's not based on money, that's based on wonderful people. So I'm very proud of that because that tells me something about myself. And that's not an ego statement, I'm just observing.
no, yeah. And reflection is key, I guess, isn't it?
Well, Ray Dalio says pain plus reflection equals progress. Life is painful at times. So embrace the pain, reflect on it, and then crack on.
Yeah.
It's no other choice.
In Buddhism, they say pain exists in life. And once we accept it, we are going to live a happier life.
Yeah, yeah, because it's turned up to teach you something. There's a great guy I follow on Instagram called Peter Crone. I don't know if you know him, but he was talking about problems, and there's three elements to a problem, and I wrote them down. There's the problem, there's you, and there's the resistance. And the problem doesn't exist anywhere apart from inside you. So the problem's arrived, and there's you, and then you've got this resistance to the problem because you don't want the problem, because you don't. But so what you have to do is actually enjoy, love it. It's not remove the word problem, it's circumstance, and dive into the feeling of it. And what is it teaching me? And then the problem dissolves like clouds. But I'd spent so many years feeling, at one point, 100%, this is the truth, believed I was the only person with problems in the world. Truly believe that. This is not fair. This is not fair. Everybody's walking around with that bag of stuff that they're trying to deal with. And some people have a real horrid time. And life sends them some really big problems and situations. But I've learned that those people, when those big problems arrive, they arrive because they somehow are able to deal with them, because life wouldn't have sent it to you otherwise, if that makes sense. So problems are a great thing. They're there to be, enjoy the energy of it and delve into it. And what is it teaching me? Let go of the resistance of what the problem is and accept it and just be in flow. And then really you don't really have any problems. You just have circumstances you've got to navigate and learn from and grow from. That's my
Accept it
thing.
and learn
Yeah,
from it, and
yeah,
more so about you.
yeah.
Um,
Because the problem exists within you. It's
yeah,
not out there. It's within you.
why sometimes looking in the mirror is very hard.
Yeah, well, looking in the mirror and telling yourself you love yourself is very difficult for a lot of people, and I quite enjoy that as well. And there's this amazing thing called mirror meditation. I don't know if you've ever done it, but you look into a mirror and you look into the eyes, and then the eyes are the gateway to the soul, and you see all sorts of things. That's what I believe that's what the Michael Jackson song "Man in the Mirror" was about. Is looking into the soul. You see many things when you do that into a deep meditation. Amazing. Yeah, yeah. You got to love yourself deeply.
You weren't scared of exploring your deep self?
It can be a little scary, yeah. But again, crack on. But I found that deep introspective way of living is freeing, especially when you get triggered. I was triggered the other day and it was like, and I noticed it. I was like, I'm being triggered here. Why is that triggering me? Where am I out of alignment? And I can't even remember what the trigger was now. But I remember at the time thinking, I'm being triggered here. Yeah, as I've spoken to all these people for their nugget of wisdom, it's made me reflect deeply on how I feel and the actions I take and the feelings I have and the thoughts I have. And I think that's a good thing. I enjoy it actually. It's quite a hobby.
Yeah, definitely, but it needs someone that can handle the truth.
Yeah, yeah, I guess it does. It's your life. You can either run from it but it will just keep chasing after you, or you deal with it. This is why people don't deal with their problems and they just get bigger.
Yeah.
Life will keep sending you the same problems if you don't learn from it, and they'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's what my issue was all those years. They're just the same problems that keep coming, crash and burn. The same experiences, problems with money all the time because I hadn't learned. So you have to face your demons. And when you do, and you face that fear, you realize there's nothing there. It's that great phrase, isn't it? Fear knocks on the door, you open the door and there's nobody there. It's just an illusion of the mind, but you've got to face it, which is why that mirror meditation is interesting. You're looking into the deepest part of you.
A very interesting conversation. If people would like to connect with you, Stephen, how can they do so?
They can't. I don't want to connect with anybody. Pay send money. Well, LinkedIn, Stephen Foster, or One Golden Nugget, wherever it is. That's what we do. If you've got a nugget of wisdom, come and share it. We'd love to talk to people, and yeah, always around.
Lovely. Thank you so much for your time today. Please take care.
You're welcome. Thank you, Con. Bye.